last Friday, I think it was IndieWire reported that Gary Ross had bowed out of negotiations for Catching Fire and would not be directing it. And that someone, Adam, I think it was you said, or I don't know, somewhere I read the word shockwaves, and I really liked that. It kind of sent shockwaves through the fandom on Friday as, like, all the different media outlets started picking up this story. And, I mean, it was kind of driving me nuts because everyone was acting as if it was, you know, definite and true, even though nothing was confirmed at all by Lionsgate. But Gary Ross was trending worldwide, and so was We Want Gary Ross, I believe. So there were 2 worldwide trending topics about Gary Ross on Friday. That's how much this news affected the fandom. And everyone was super devastated. But then on Saturday, I believe, and I could be screwing up all of these dates, but I think it was on Saturday that the Hollywood Reporter, or no, it was Deadline, I think. Yeah, it was Deadline, I believe, issued not like a retort, but they issued an article on the subject that basically said, you know, nothing is confirmed. We have sources on the inside. This is not true. And then either yesterday or today, the Hollywood Reporter issued a similar story saying that, you know, nothing, he had not officially left. And the last that we heard, he was resuming negotiations today. So he returned from a family vacation on Friday or Saturday, and today he's been in meetings, I guess, with Lionsgate, talking about stuff. So before we kind of talk about, I don't know, Adam, should we talk about the Gary Ross's boss thing first, or talk about, like, what might be going on? I'm trying to figure out how to organize this.
About the Gary Ross's boss thing.
Okay,
first,
so Shylah.
I would like to ask anybody out there, though, if you have any animagus, or however you pronounce that, abilities like Rita Skeeter, and you can become a fly on the wall, please go into that negotiation and tell us what's going on. Because I'm dying to know if this deal is happening, if Gary Ross is going to be back. So, and I think Shylah is the most qualified to become that Rita Skeeter fly on the wall.
Oh, totally.
So I'm going to turn it over.
She would be great. So, yeah, so, Shylah, okay. Why don't you first give us, like, a rundown of what exactly Gary Ross's boss is?
Sure.
And how it started and all of that.
Friday night, or I guess Friday, you know, as Savanna already said, the announcement of Gary Ross possibly not being a part of Catching Fire, like, really shook us. I know that I was in tears. I know that a lot of other people who have been really involved with the fandom were really upset. But nothing was confirmed, which, you know, at that point, it was still, you know, a dark time, but we were hoping that, you know, things weren't finalized. So I think it was me, you, Savanna, Adam, and Rebekah, who were talking on Twitter about, you know, something that the fans could do to possibly, you know, sway things. And to some people it seems a little ridiculous, but fans really have a lot of power. You know, they've brought franchises back from the dead. They've saved franchises from getting canceled. They've, you know, with Firefly, they had a full-length motion picture made after the series was kept canceled just because there was so much fan support about that series. So we started up Gary Ross is Boss. We started it as a video petition, hoping that people would submit YouTube videos of themselves, kind of saying why Gary is important to the Hunger Games fandom. And then Sam Cushion, who's on vacation right now, made us this super awesome website, GaryRossIsBoss.com. And so we started collecting not just those videos, but pictures, letters. People started to do, we had someone make pretzels that said Gary Ross is boss. I've seen Easter eggs, lots of songs, video compilations, and really from all around the world of people expressing their love and desire to have Gary Ross continue with the franchise because he is a fan, like we are fans. Do you want me to say what happened today with it, or?
Well, I just want to make sure I did give out my timeline was so disjointed and poorly worded. But did I leave out anything? I think I kind of gave the basic story.
I don't think so. Other than the Hollywood Reporter story today that seemed very kind of light at the end of the tunnel, that Gary is in talks and that things are going well. So we made the executive decision to kind of start to push this out into the media. So I know Savanna and we worked on a press release to send out, and then Rebekah actually catnissed up and called Gary Ross's publicist to see if we could, give him word about the initiative, and they gave us an email address. So we emailed Gary Ross's publicist, who got back to us within probably 10 minutes. What she said was, Gary Ross already knows about you guys. So at some point over the weekend, Gary Ross has viewed GaryRoss'sBoss.com and is aware of the fan support. So if you are, wanting Gary back for the franchise, please submit to the website because he does know about it. He is looking at it. And, from what we know about Gary Ross, he really does value what the fans say. He went out of his way to respond to all of those letters from that school in Texas. He's been very receptive to be careful about what fans hold important. So he knows, and he wants, I'm assuming he wants to hear from us. So if you want Gary to be a part of Catching Fire, send it on over to GaryRossIsBoss.com and let him know because he's listening.
Yeah. And, and we had talked about this. I mean, honestly, regardless of what happens, we're so happy that we did this because if, and of course we desperately want him to return, but if he does not, this will sort of serve as just a great tribute to him and kind of like a collective fan thank you to him for making such an incredible first film. So regardless of what happens, keep sending in stuff and we'll get it up. And there's some amazing stuff up there. So definitely go check it out if you haven't already.
And I love this comment from one of the fake Pitas. Pita the Baker tweeted using our hashtag, Gary Ross needs to just step out of a crowd and say, I volunteer to direct Catching Fire.
And that's actually a good segue. No one, it's impossible. In some ways, it's silly to even talk about it because we have no way of knowing exactly what's going on. So many different sources have reported so many different things. So, we don't know for sure if it's about money or if it's about the schedule. As you guys all know, X-Men, which Jennifer Lawrence is in, or she will be in the sequel, that starts filming in January. So in order to finish filming Catching Fire by the end of the year, I think that they said they would need to have the script and all of the pre-production stuff finished within 4 months. And that's a super tight window to work in. So I'm really hoping that something gets worked out with that. But, yeah, I don't really think any of the – and we won't speculate on this too much just because we don't have all the facts, but I personally don't think any of the stuff that was in that original article is true. I know that they were saying that he didn't want to stay on with the franchise, but we know that that's not the case. He is so incredibly passionate about the series, and he has already talked so much about Catching Fire. So that just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But so maybe we should, Adam, kind of go around and get people's thoughts.
Yeah, I think we should. I also wanted to say one other funny comment. This one came from the chat room from Donna Lomboy. And she said, if he does, hold on, I want to get it right. He said, if he does not return to the film, ... I just can't afford to think like that. That was great.
Shylah, did you mention the Twitter? Did you mention the Twitter petition?
Yeah, there is a Twitter petition going on, too. It's got, I think right now, over 1,600 Twitter signatures, and I'll tweet that out to everybody right now, and I'll put it in the chat room, too.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I just want to say, not that I want to tell everyone a call to arms, but there are a lot of people who I know are very well-intending, and I'm not criticizing anyone for doing this, who have been saying, oh, I'm so upset about this, and tracking the numbers, but you haven't actually gone to GaryRoss'sBoss.com and submitted your comment, picture, or video yet. And if you don't feel comfortable, don't feel pressured at all. But if you do feel the way that Shylah, Savanna, Rebekah, and I feel, and everybody else I think who's on the show, it really makes a difference if you go there and submit something. So if you can find it in yourself to actually make the personal contribution from yourself, don't even delay. Go there right now to GaryRoss'sBoss.com. It can even be a message, but honestly something creative like a picture or video can be really iconic. One that really struck out to me, I know, Shylah, we talked about this a little bit earlier, Savanna, today we were conferring. This one girl, I guess it's Jana or Jana is probably how it's pronounced, from the Czech Republic, who spelled out Gary Ross's boss in pretzels. I thought that was such a cool thing. And that kind of stuff can really resonate and start I don't want to say a revolution, but can really get people inspired to support this, because we have, Shylah already said, Gary Ross knows about it. For all you know, he went on vacation. We don't know what the conflict was, but maybe he felt his creative license was being pressured or stamped on too much, that he wasn't getting paid properly. Who knows what happened? We're not here to play judge and jury. But what we do know is he came back from his vacation, and if he sees these heartwarming messages from fans, it's going to be a lot harder for him to walk away from this series. And that's what we want to happen, because this should be his film. And people get caught up in hot-blooded conflicts. Peter Jackson didn't make The Hobbit for 9 years because of a stupid debate with New Line Cinema about Fellowship of the Ring DVD money. That's what caused this entire thing to happen. It's so stupid when you think about it. Billions down the toilet over a dumb argument. So, I mean, I think people get, tempers flare. We're all like that. And if Gary Ross sees this message from the fans, I think it will remind him that he is so beloved and that this was his dream to make all 3 or 4 of these pictures, probably 4. And it makes a difference. So do what you can. All right, that's my plea and call to arms. Sorry, Shylah, I just step on your thing.
Oh, yes, no, I just wanted to add on to that. The fact that he is in negotiations, I think, is a great sign. Like, if he didn't want to do it, he wouldn't be at the negotiation table. He would have just said, I'm out. So, I mean, it's clear that he wants to do it and that they're just trying to work some stuff out